Hey guys, we're at part number 7. This is insane. I can't believe how much I've got to say. So the last one we were just talking about the physical changes, and I think we wrapped up with what was happening around the face, and I just sort of wanted to add to that I'm really looking forward to some future changes there. I think I mentioned it's your face that's on display, it's what everybody sees, it's what you see in the mirror. So yeah, I still need to I acknowledge I've come so far, and you may not think so, but if you go and see some of my before photos, if you go and search for me on Reddit, I've got a whole bunch of stuff up on there of my before photos, and you might be a little bit surprised. Everyone who sees them says no, they're two different people. So although I have come so far, I am filled with excitement about how I will continue to evolve and change, and how my face will change. I essentially feel like I look like a different person already at just under 4 months. So I think the consensus is around 8 months is when some real significant changes start to kick in. And then the 12 and 18 month point after that is even more once again. So totally excited. Something I'll probably point out that you picked up from my first video and every other video since then is my voice. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but I struggle with my voice training. I have a speech therapist that I go to specifically for feminizing my voice, and although I have made some inroads there, it's one of those areas which I find extremely difficult. Not so much doing the exercises. I mean, when I actually do them, I kill it. I really do quite well, and when I have my face-to-face appointments with my voice therapist, she says, wow, you pick this up so quickly. Where I struggle is when I come home and I'm supposed to do it on the hour every hour, and it just, I don't know what it is, I just can't commit to it. So anyway, this is my voice, and this is what I'm stuck with for the moment. And if I find some motivation to do my exercises, maybe, just maybe, I will fix it one day. But until then, this is what I have. So we were talking about the changes from hormones. And yeah, so unfortunately for male to female, hormones don't do anything for your voice. The other thing I didn't mention was the hair regrowth. So I think when I finally came out, the first thing I did was jumped in the shower and shaved everything. It was like a fire sale. Everything must go except for my head. And other bits, but it's a bit rude. I'm talking arms, legs, chest. Not an essentially over hairy person anyway, but it was so liberating to be able to shave my legs. And we're talking, this was summertime. I've shaved my legs a bazillion times, but it's always been in winter when I hide them under long pants. And then you kind of like got to time the season to make sure that you stop shaving to give yourself enough time for the regrowth. So when summertime and you're wearing shorts, no one suspects a thing. There were a couple of close calls, but I had never ever been called out on shaving my legs. I had never shaved my arms, and I had shaved my chest from time to time. Again, not an overly hairy person, so it wasn't that noticeable. However, it was always through the winter months. So at the start of summer, spring, I think it was, to then go and remove all my body hair, and it wasn't until I removed it all that I realised how much dysphoria my body hair caused me. I already spoke about and got a bit emotional about my facial hair earlier today. That is a part, every time I even think about it, my eyes well up. That is a part that kills me. That's my biggest part of my dysphoria is around my facial hair. I absolutely despise it. But body hair came a close second. But what's really nice is at this point on the hormones, is that the regrowth has really slowed down, and the hair isn't as coarse and it's quite thin, and it does actually grow back just like that little peach fuzz that normal cisgender women have. So, and it's been a process or progress over the months, where at first I was shaving nearly every day because of the novelty. And those of you who know how much it sucks to shave, you know that novelty wears off pretty quickly. So then I found a balance where now I probably shave, say, my legs maybe once a week. If I've got a special event on, or I just want to feel nice that day and I want to pamper myself, sure, I'll shave again just for the sake of it. But out of necessity, I can get away with, in a skirt, I can get away with shaving once a week. The arms are probably even less, maybe every second week. I might just take with a razor, and same as my chest. So I've never had a hairy back, thank God. And everywhere else is really negligible. I've never needed to do anything there. But it's really nice that the hormones do slow down your regrowth. Unfortunately, they don't do anything for grey hair. Remember, I'm 47, 48 next month, mind you. So I may as well start saying that I'm 48. It's really nice. So let's talk about some of the mental changes since I've been on hormones. So besides what I've already documented about the mood swings, the ups and the downs, and I think that's attributed a lot to just finding your balance with your levels. I think once you get your levels right, that is less of a thing. But something else that I well documented on my Reddit page is this, and this might be controversial to some. Others may just totally reject it, but others who have experienced are going to say, yeah, it's real. We know it. We've been there. So I had experienced a week or so ago my very first episode of PMT or PMS, whatever it is you want to call it. And some of you might be thinking that is absolutely ridiculous, Brittany. There's no way as a trans woman you can experience that. Well, I'm standing here today to tell you that, yeah, you can. And I did. So obviously I don't have the inner workings of a cisgendered female, so I can't physically shed blood. We're all adults here. So I can't actually have a period. Let's acknowledge that. And that's not what I'm saying happened, because that's totally impossible biologically for that to happen. But what did happen was all the other side effects, all the things that happen before that part of a woman's cycle. So, wow, did I get depressed. And I'm just explaining to you how my levels were all great and those peaks and troughs had leveled out, and I was basically pretty good every single day, just cruising along going, this is great. I'm living my best life here. And then it was a Sunday afternoon, and it was like someone kicked me in the guts, and I was like, what's this feeling now? No one told me this was going to happen, and my mood just went off the edge of a cliff. I think that night I actually took myself to bed early at around 6 o'clock or something. I thought, nah, I'm no fun to be around when I'm like this, so I'll just save everybody the hassle and I'll just go to bed and sleep it off. And tomorrow morning I'll be fine, and start of a new week and we'll be happy. Next morning it hung around. I had headaches, I had a breakout, I had pimples, which I hadn't had for so long. I've focused so much on my skincare routine. I've always struggled with my skin, not so much acne, but I've always had a bit of rosacea. I have fair skin, so I burn easily. I had some eczema issues in my youth. So I've always struggled with my skin, but I finally managed, and I think part of the help from the hormones is that my skin and my face really started to improve, and I was loving it. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. And then this hit, and I was like, holy crap. I didn't want to speak to anybody. I just wanted to sleep. I wanted to hide away from the world. I lost my appetite. I didn't want to eat at all. And then my thoughts of this whole thing around, which I probably haven't discussed yet, I was red flagged as having a potential eating disorder because of my weight loss, and I basically didn't eat, and then I still saw myself as big, but I really wasn't, and I was quite underweight, and etc, etc, etc. But I worked through that with my therapist, and I had started to eat regularly again. It was all around the fear of putting weight back on. So yeah, I sort of slipped back into that mindset. I was even questioning my transition. It was horrible. and I just felt sick. My digestive system was doing funny things that they'd never done before. I was lethargic. So yeah, if you Google a list of symptoms of PMT or PMS, pretty much everything I just said then, I could tick those off the list. And I did a bit of research. Can transgender women experience this? And there's a theory out there that, yeah, you can. And I've experienced it. So I've actually mapped it on my calendar. So I'm going to see what happens at the same time next month or there around that time. And then as the months go by, I'm going to sort of just track that and see what happens. So I've spoken to other trans women who are further along in their transition than me, and they go, yeah, that's a thing. Absolutely, that's a thing. Welcome. No one told me about this. When I see my doctor in a week and a half, I'm going to say, you didn't warn me about this. Why wasn't this in the brochure? So yeah, that's a big part of the mental thing as well. I mean, sure, there was a physical reaction there, but a lot of that was mental as well. And it was tough. It was a tough week, and it lasted pretty much a week. It was like Sunday to Sunday. It wasn't until that following Monday morning that I woke up. And Monday for me, like I said in a previous video, is new patch day. So I put my new hormone patches on, and that normally gives me a bit of a lift. And I felt as though that kind of dragged me out of that funk, that terrible week. And it was bad. And I felt funny about it because I thought, was it that? Or was it something else? And it still could be, but I'm pretty confident it was. And I talked to my wife about it, and she said, yeah, well, and funnily enough, I think she was at the same part of her cycle as well. So I think it's not uncommon for women to align in that respect. So that happened too. It just got dark again. So anyway, there we go. That was another quick 12 minutes of me just talking about stuff. So I feel as though there's so much more, and this is actually, I think I alluded to this earlier on, that it's quite therapeutic for me to do these videos. I hope they're informative for you, but they're therapeutic for me because I'm actually reliving all these moments again as I talk to you about them. And there's a lot of things that I had sort of parked and not thought about for a while that are actually coming to the surface again. So I'm realizing there's a lot more to my story than what I originally thought. So, okay, that's enough babbling. Thanks again. Well done for making it through another episode or another part, whatever you want to call it. So this was 7. I suppose I'll be back with part 8 if you're interested. All right, see you soon.